Hello everyone and Happy New Year. I'm really excited as always. It's been too long and for that I apologise. But we have been getting together as a community like we did last year. Well, the year before I guess. And talking about our very favourite things. So it's time for the Dark Orc 2023 Community Tabletop Gaming Awards. Did your favourite thing win? Was it a loser? And more importantly, which ridiculous hoard of unnecessary items that was bundled in with a crowdfunding game was your favourite? I'll be joined today by the amazing Neil from Paladin Roleplaying, and let us know in the comments what you're excited about. If you're not already a member, then please do like, subscribe, come talk to us on Discord. We have a Patreon, all that sort of stuff. But for now, with Devious Dungeons, Surviving Forest, and the coolest cats, my name is Phil, and welcome to the Dark Orb. Hey, Neil, good to see you. How's it going?
Hello, Phil. Very good, thanks. How's you?
Yeah, my friend.
Yeah, not so new anymore. Feels like kind of a million years ago.
Damn it.
New enough, I guess. New enough.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's still January, right?
I think.
Is it still January?
Yeah. Hello also to Exodus and to Jay and to Sandra Takage. Very, very good to see all of you. And,
hi, Andy. Hi, Jay. Hi, Bruce.
Hope you're all doing.
Are we allowed to use real names? Is that like?
Sure. Why not?
Sorry.
You are called Neil, right?
Yeah. No, I'm just called Paladin. I'm just Mr. Paladin.
Paladin, I think you'll find. To rhyme with Aladdin.
Yes,
One of our friends
right, yes.
calls it Paladin. I can't think who it is. If it's you, you're wrong, but we love you anyway. Probably. Before we get into it, I suppose we could have a little bit of a chat about what we've been up to. So, what have you been up to in the realm of gaming since we last saw you on the channel? So I think we last saw you, well, maybe that was for...
Would have been
2047.
Vermin, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, do you know what, Phil? Honestly, sorry, I'm just reading the chat.
Paladin Neil always makes me expect a guy in full armour with a cross on one knee.
Next time. Your wish is my command.
Have you been up to any gaming in the last few weeks?
Well, do you know what? I haven't been doing, if I think about the last year as a whole, not nearly enough, actually, Phil.
No, I feel the same way.
I'm one of those kind of people that I keep track of all my game sessions. I have a little spreadsheet. It's very sad. And it recorded
I
me...
bet that's the only reason why you're maintaining your subscription to insert name of spreadsheet company here.
Yes, exactly. So I can keep track of my... Yeah, one spreadsheet. It doesn't even need to be a spreadsheet because it's just a list. It could be anything.
Have you checked it twice?
Yes. I forgot what I was going to say there. Yes, I've only managed 51 sessions of gaming last year, under one a week, and I would like to, my kind of ideal would probably be to average, I don't know, 1.5 a week, 70 odd. Yeah. And I've only played 8 different games, which is not that many games.
It's not rubbish. Great, but it's a damn sight better than me, to be honest with you. I've barely played anything that hasn't been on the stream, with a couple of exceptions. My good friend Neil has been running a private game of Die, which is coming to a close soon. But yeah, we've had a good opportunity to try that out and see what we think. Maybe we'll do something for the channel at some point. Who knows?
Yeah, could do.
Rowan, Rook and Deckard, obviously. Was it Rook Rowan? Rowan Rook.
Rowan,
yeah.
Rowan Rook and Deckard, yeah.
Yeah, they... it's difficult. I love the games. I love playing their games. I find them incredibly impossible to run. But you're a dab hand of that now. At that now. But they are gorgeous in every way. and it just.
I think they're one of the most exciting games companies of the moment.
Yeah,
personally,
better than Waddington's,
the stuff
aren't
they're
they?
putting out is great. Yes,
There's a 1990s, 80s
that's a
throwback.
blast from the past. Yeah.
That's right.
Wow.
We're going to start talking about Pally toys soon. Yeah, they're the people who made the Star Wars toys in the UK, by the way. Among other things, they were quite important. Yeah, I think probably I maybe only handled about 5 or 6 different games. One shots here and there. A couple of games that we played with you. Trying to think what else I played other than Die in a.
What did we do this year?
game.
Did we do some Spire this year?
You did. I wasn't really able to partake.
Oh no, that's right. Yeah, that's right. So you played Spire maybe with me last year, year before.
Yeah, I might have gotten a little bit in. And yeah, amazing game. This year, so yeah, first of all, actually, last year, the Dark Orb needs to have more content than it did, and I feel very bad about that. But at the same time, lots has really happened in the last year. Outside of gaming, just work has been very different. I changed roles, and it's sort of been a lot more demanding than I had anticipated. Just up here, I mean, in terms of when I finish work, that sort of stuff, and sometimes late, but really generally not that bad. But definitely using up a lot of my games mastering headspace. But this year, I've got a few things I definitely want to do. I want to get my head around Cypher System. Because it's not that complicated, but I seem to just have that block of just getting it over the edge, and that'll happen. And we'll get some Cypher System games on here. We talked about The Zone. And I've got it's right there, that bright yellow box. But The Zone started off as an online game, so I think we might get something together very soon to play that online game. And then, I mean, that's a play to lose, post-apocalyptic, weird stuff game. I think that's
what's not to like,
right?
Yeah.
And I think that's a good place to start. Maybe some Free League stuff. We've got Alchemy VCT on the way, with all the additional stuff that I think was released today, actually, for backers. So maybe some Tales from the Loop or some Versen, something like that. We shall see.
Fun.
Bruce says he's going to run some games at Contingency next week. I've got to say, Bruce, I'm not envious of the weather. Well, of you
right.
in the weather. I mean, I know you're used to Scottish, the Scottish tropical climes, but Contingency, by all accounts, is an amazing convention.
I've never been.
It's in Norfolk. They basically take over a caravan park, and yeah, I hear it's amazing.
I know it's one of Bruce's highlights every year.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's not a patch, obviously, on Orbtoberfest. So there we go. I thought Neil had a framed picture of 1950s UFO on the shelf behind him. It's a desk lamp in front of the table. Oh, over your left shoulder. Does look
yes,
like
you're right. It is. Oh yeah, it does, doesn't it? It is a desk lamp. You're right. Yeah.
Neil, why are we here?
I kind of wish I did that. Sorry. Yes.
What's the purpose? Why are we here? I've forgotten. I'm sure we were going to do. Well,
that's a big question, Phil. Why is anyone here?
Yeah, why are we here? What are we? Who are we?
We are here, Phil, to see who has won the Dark Orb yearly awards.
Raffle? No. The yearly awards. Yes, and in terms of what those awards are, well, they have some very sensible names. And if I was actually a little bit more,
sensible names.
If I were a little bit more coordinated and had planned things better, we would have titles and everything for each of these awards. But instead, we're going to try and read them out.
Even better.
As we go through them. Even better. So, should we just crack on with the first one?
Maybe I should have had that beer after all.
Well, let's crack on with the second question, because the first one and the list is currently name, and I don't think that's the most popular name is.
Yeah.
Well, blank actually, null. Um, so yeah, we probably should both have had those beers. The first award goes to the Dark Orb. They're making a potentially awesome game, but it's not out yet. But Kickstarter hype and Phil, or the Dark Orb, made me buy or almost buy it. So better be good because I already paid money for it. Most anticipated RPG that didn't come out yet, but already took my money. Stupidly lengthy title community award.
Yes, what he said.
And yeah, we had quite a lot of nominations on this one. But there is, in fact, a clear winner and 2 clear runners-up. So maybe we should look at those runners-up. So in joint runner-up, we've got X-Crawl Classics by Goodman Games.
Interesting. Wouldn't have necessarily expected that.
No, absolutely. I mean, it's a great game. I've played it a handful of times, conventions and online, and it's brilliant. It's like Dungeon Crawl Classics meets Smash TV meets The Running Man. So it's really, really good fun. Very pulpy. What was the other joint second place?
The other joint second place was... Which shade of green is that?
You can just hover over it and it'll tell you.
Yeah. It was Mothership.
Mothership.
Which is slightly less surprising for me.
Yeah, given our
quite a popular game.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, for me personally, out of those 2 games, I mean, I'd run a game. I'd play a game for sure of X-Crawl Classics, especially if Brendan was running it.
Brendan is a legend.
But Mothership would be my choice out of those 2.
Absolutely.
In fact, I was a Mothership backer. I'm eagerly awaiting the box.
I may have upgraded my pledge level, which might have been a mistake.
Did you, in fact, go for the Phil level?
I did. I hadn't originally gone for the Phil level, but the upgrade now or forever hold your peace, you bastards email came through last week. In fact, I think over the weekend, and I decided to channel my inner Exeus, and I got massive FOMO. Which is ridiculous because I haven't run Mothership yet and I've only played it like 3 times, but it is such a great
very
game.
Good. Yeah, it is very good.
Yeah, so we'll hopefully get that to the channel at some point. Anticipation. Just looking at the comments. Okay. Do we need a drum roll for the winner? Can anyone guess?
This is where you play your specially prepared drum roll sound clip.
You know what? I probably have one somewhere.
I was joking, but if you have, then great.
I've got a bicycle horn. And a DJ air horn, the glockenspiel. I've got a badumch. But the winner for the Dark Orb, they're making a potentially awesome game, but it's not out yet. But Kickstarter hype and Phil / the Dark Orb made me buy / almost buy it, so it better be good because I already paid for it. Most anticipated RPG that didn't come out yet, but already took my money. Stupidly lengthy title community award goes to. It's Astro Inferno.
A worthy winner.
Apologies in advance if this is way loud because we haven't tested these. That's not too bad. So, a huge congratulations to the team over at Astro Inferno, Andreas Rue and the rest of the team. And in fact, we are blessed and graced with someone who I think would be fair to almost accept it on behalf of them.
Oh, I don't know about that.
So Neil, as someone who is kind of tentatively almost on the editorial staff slightly.
I wouldn't feel I could accept the award because it's not my work, but
you could send it forward, couldn't you?
I could send it forward. I was lucky enough to be one of the editors for Astro Inferno, so I've had I've read all of it and I've seen the layouts and oh my god, he's done spectacular work. It's beautiful. It's stunning. I mean, really, really impressive. I cannot wait to see the physical book. It's going to be absolutely amazing.
Did you back for both versions?
I did in the end. Yeah.
Yeah. Because there's two different versions of that book. There's the, okay, yeah, I could probably get away with selling this at a normal game shop version. And then there's the, just like Helmgast, I'm a bit concerned that this might be a little bit too graphic and it might not actually sell anywhere, so I best only make it available to Kickstarter backers version. And of course, we're very blessed in that I stupidly spent lots of my own money on it, getting a fill level. And so, and you'll have seen this, I think, at this point. There is the Dark Orb setting. So I guess it's a scenario, really, isn't it?
Well, scenario, really, yeah.
Which I will outright say I didn't fully write, because I cared deeply about making sure that the tone matched. So I gave an awful lot of plot points and thought and contributed deeply into it without actually wanting to word for word verbatim write the scenario, because basically I just didn't think I could do it justice without having read the whole book. But it is very, very much exactly what I was hoping for, and I'm pretty excited by that. But yeah, that won
Very
with
cool.
26.7% of the votes. Just an interesting win there. So congratulations again to Haxan for that wonderful award. We'll probably get you some clip art or something that you can hang on your wall. What's the next award?
What is the next award? The next award is the Dark Orb Community Award for the most anticipated physical RPG that TDO hasn't actually talked about on the show, because this year Phil has been a bit rubbish. That's the name of the award, by the way, not just me being mean.
You're never mean. And we actually have a tie. Well, this is actually quite interesting. We've got a tie with 3 different products for second place, and a tie of 2 different products for first place.
Yeah, well, sort of.
Ish. So I think we'll just talk about the 2 that. Oh yeah, that's what you mean by sort of.
Yeah.
So some people just don't give a crap, basically.
Yeah.
So in that case, yeah, you're right. So really, we have, if we exclude the people who don't care, then we have a tie for second place, a 3-way tie for second place, and a clear winner, apart from ambivalence. So, the first game that we should mention in the runners-up is actually the sequel to a fantastic game. It's Mythic Bastionland. I'm kind of intrigued by Mythic Bastionland because Electric Bastionland is amazing. Only ran it once. It was a lot of fun. But I think the fact that you have to create the setting yourself as a GM before you can run the game just makes something very special, because you end up developing such a personal tie to this strange town where everyone lives. And okay, yeah, as a GM you might do that anyway. You might have an idea of what a town, you create a town, and then you might flesh out some of the details of it and then ad-lib it during gameplay. When you actually have to build a map and build all the links and really think about all of the what's the word I'm looking for? All the points on the map that actually matter. It's really a very different way of doing things. Yeah, I know, Andy. Perish the thought that you have to make the background up. But there's something really special about how Electric Bastionland does it, because you're actually encouraged to think very deeply about these specific locations. Yeah, I think it's really cool. Mythic Bastionland, I'm a little concerned that it looks like it's a hex crawl. I'm not a huge fan of hex crawls, but hey, it's a fantasy version of Electric Bastionland, so it's probably going to be absolutely incredible. What else did we have as a tie? Do you want to pick one of those?
We've got... Well, I can, but I don't have much to say about either of these because I don't know much about them.
You're
We've got
slacking.
Deathmatch Island.
Okay.
It also ties for second, which I sort of looked at on Kickstarter, and I think I considered maybe whether I'd back it, but decided not to in the end.
So Deathmatch Island is basically Battle Royale / The Hunger Games as a role-playing game. Evil Hat Games have put it together. I've backed it at a very basic level, just to get the book actually. I have considered adding on other things, but I don't think I'll ever run it. So it might end up just being... It might end up being a prize at Oktoberfest, for example. We'll see. I'll just keep the PDF. But I think it's going to be brilliant. Hex pub crawls, that sounds amazing, Bruce. Let's do it. Unless it means a pub crawl where you get hexed all the time, because you'll feel that the next day, I think. And the other...
I should have had that last hex.
And the other game that tied in there for second place was the Electric State, which is by 3D. There's another Simon Stollenhag art book inspired role-playing game. And unless it's changed, Simon not only is an author and an amazing graphic artist, but also happens to be a director at 3D. So, you know, these things just seem to be happening. That said, it's being turned into a major motion picture with Millie Bobby Brown and Misk others. And yeah, it's basically a story of someone going from left to right on a map, I guess. It's a bit, you know, it's one of them old right to left. I can't remember now. And yeah, as Bruce points out, the alpha came out yesterday. I haven't had a look at that yet, but it'll be gorgeous. I'm sure it'll be fun. I've backed it, obviously, because I think Tales from the Loop, Things from the Flood are great. I really do want to run Tales from the Loop for the channel, so that'll probably happen at some point, not that far away. And the winner. Would you like to announce the winner? Because I think you might have a vested personal opinion on this one. You have to remind people of the title of the award.
The winner of the Dark Orb Community Award for the most anticipated physical RPG that the Dark Orb hasn't actually talked about on the show because this year has been a bit rubbish. It's another Rome, Rook and Deckard game. It's Eat the Reich. I mean, I said earlier on, I think at the moment I feel like Rome, Rook and Deckard can do no wrong. I'm loving all their games that are coming out recently. And of course I haven't seen this yet, nobody has. But what a great looking game. I mean, beautiful as all their games are. It's just a slim little book, and you play vampires who are being basically airdropped into Nazi Germany to try and kill Hitler and drink all his blood.
It's going to be so amazing. I really wish that I'd backed this at the field level. I didn't. Because I just figure I'll probably never actually run it. But it'll be amazing to have on the shelf.
I'll definitely run it.
Yeah.
For sure.
It's going to be absolutely stupendous. The art style is incredible. And yeah, it's going to be gorgeous. What's not to love?
And I like that it's really simple. I think it's intended just for a few sessions.
Yes.
There's no character creation. It's just got pre-gens, so it's just kind of a pick up and play kind of thing. Yeah. I think it's just a little sort of kind of pamphlet-y, zine-y kind of thing.
Yeah, but I was
quite different to their other stuff.
On the one hand, a game that doesn't have character creation and just has pre-gens is a bit crap. And then you think about it, and certainly if you've played a lot of convention scenarios, you realise, no, playing with pre-gens is amazing. Because you don't have to think too much about it. You just have to
just pick them up, run with it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And actually, a lot of the time, that's my preferred way. And also, the game designers generally have thought really carefully about making characters that are fairly balanced and all have something to bring. So you don't end up with that one character that just can't do anything.
Yeah. It's picked completely the wrong skills for the scenario.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've all been there. With the whole campaign,
so very well done, Rowan, Rook and Deckard. Your terrible piece of artwork at some point will be winging its way to you if you ask for it. But yeah, it's going to be great, that game. I can't wait for it. The next award goes to the Dark Orb. There's a lot of shit on my table award for the best tabletop or board gamey game that was released in 2023. And this may come as some surprise, but a lot of people really didn't care much about this one. We had a staggering number of people who just didn't vote for this one at all. But we do
So-called
have
people are hardcore role-playing people and not into
Yes.
this rubbish, stupid board game nonsense.
What a load of rubbish. But we do therefore have three, I think we've got a handful of votes and 3 winners. We've actually got joint first and a second place. So second place goes to Marvel Zombies, Zombicide game, where basically you get to be people fighting zombies that are Marvel characters. And I think you have some Marvel characters that are not zombies and some that are. I can't recall. It's been a while since I looked at that campaign.
I don't know.
Yeah. And what do we have in the way of non-runners-up? The 2 winners. I guess you probably don't know much about either of these.
I don't know much about either of them, except I know you've got them both.
Yeah, it feels like a fix.
That's literally all I know.
So yeah, okay. I suppose I should talk about them then. These are in no particular order, but I'll start with the one that I like the most. No, I won't. I couldn't pick between these actually, and I did vote, but I don't even remember which one of these 2 I voted for. So that says a lot, doesn't it? It's telling you don't know much about the winners. So, ISS Vanguard is a game by Awoken Realms, and actually the second part of it, the second wave, I literally received last week. So it's now all in, and it's a really interesting board game where you and your crew. You're basically like the commander of an expedition to the far reaches of I think it's the galaxy, to try and find the root of humanity. So basically, the human race discovered evidence that there was something before us out there, and we, through finding alien artifacts, worked out how to create a great big spaceship and go there. And it's really interesting because it's a minis-based game. It's from Awaken Realms, so those are the people that did things like Tainted Grail and Nemesis and all these other great, beautiful miniatures-based board games. And this, I think, is one of the better ones. You have a folder that represents the big ship that you're in, this generation ship, and it's literally like a lever arch or a ring binder that has cards and sleeves and stuff, and you basically can plan what you're doing when you're in this big ship, which star system we want to go to next, which planets we want to go and investigate, and also take part in various strategic things whilst you're in this ship phase. Like, you might want to research some more technology, or you might need to train up some more crew, or you might need to spend time healing some of your crew up in the med bay. And then there's this interesting other phase. Once you pick which planet you want to go to, you then have to land on the planet. And when you land on the planet, you basically go into like the exploration phase, where you have a book that represents the planet you're on. You go to a particular page, and then you have a whole bunch of cards that can be put down on the board in specific spaces depending on the mission you're doing. And there's a book that you can go through, and it tells you which cards to place. Or we're actually using an app which basically does the same thing. And there's a great big long story about you discovering the origins of humanity, and there's aliens and all this sort of stuff. It's really cool. It's not very easy. We're not particularly hardcore when it comes to following every single rule. We'd rather learn the story. So the equivalent of playing on easy mode, I guess. Sometimes we'll cheat a little bit just to get the most out of the game.
It's fair enough.
Because otherwise you just end up dying all the time. But we've had crew members die. We've had serious injuries. We've had riots, all this sort of thing. It's great. In the game, not like in person. So that's ISS Vanguard. Phenomenal game. Really expensive to get outside of Kickstarter. Game found. Dorfromantic. was the other co-winner. And some of you may know Dwarf Romantic from, I think it was on the, was it the Wii? I don't know. What's the current Nintendo thing? Switch. Nintendo. I'm down with the cool kids, yo. The Nintendo Switch, and it's a bit like, I guess, a kind of Carcassonne type thing. You're basically creating a village, no, like a settlement, multiple settlements, developing this landscape. And it's a very simple game where basically you're trying to achieve tasks of build the longest railroad, build the longest river, create a woodland area that's got a minimum of X number of connected tiles that are of the same type. And you just earn points. And as you progress through the game, unlocking more tiles, of special tiles and special tasks and challenges, basically you're tracking your progress and you end up with little targets. And it's almost like a legacy game. So it's quite rewarding because you end up trying to work out how quickly can I achieve that specific challenge. Can I do it quicker than we did last time? Can we earn more points than we did in the last game that we played? Spoiler alert, probably not. But it's really fun. It's really nice. So if you haven't checked that out and you want a board game to play, it's cooperative. I thoroughly recommend that if anyone wants a game to play with their spouse, with their kids, it probably is better with I would say more mature audiences, not because of the content, it's actually really family friendly, but just in terms of there's some kind of deep strategy, so when you know your family best. But yeah, it's just really nice. So well done to I'm trying to think, is it Pegasus, I think, that published that, and Awaken Realms, and I guessed Simon as well, I guess. What is the next award? It's another tabletop award, I believe.
I think that's right. Where is it? Here it is. You want me to do it?
Sure.
It's the Dark Orb. There's going to be a lot of shit on my table award for the most hotly... That's the one we just done. It's the
sure?
Dark Orb. Yeah, I know I've spent bloody loads of money on games, but I need more stuff to make them even better award for Best Add-on Expansion or Game Accessory of 2023.
Actually, you were right first time round. We got them in the
No, I was right the first.
But we'll do this anyway.
Alright, we'll come back to that one.
So, yeah, I know I've spent bloody loads of money on games, but I need more stuff to make them even better. Award for Best Add-on Expansion or Gaming Accessory of 2023 has a second place, and then we've got a tie for first place.
Well, it's kind of not a tie again.
Well,
it's the same situation.
Yeah, okay, fine. A lot of people don't really care. How can you not care about something with such importance as more tat? That's what I want to know. But with that in mind, okay, so we do actually have then a second, a third, and a first place. So in third place, the G.I. Joe role-playing game Sergeant Slaughter Limited Edition Accessory Pack from Renegade Games. I gotta say, I know nothing about this.
Likewise.
It's G.I. Joe. There's a Sergeant Slaughter dude.
Yeah. And there's an accessory pack which is limited edition.
And has a blokey in it, I think. I think it's got a little plastic blokey. Second place? What's the second place?
Second place is Orbital Blues Afterburn. Oh. Very interesting game. Not one I've ever played. It's definitely on my want to play list. I don't know anything about the add-on Afterburn. Do you, Phil?
No.
All right,
it's
then.
not about flying an American jet fighter in the 1980s video game. So
disappointing.
No idea.
Yeah. Okay.
But Orbital Blues is gorgeous, and I very nearly backed it. Andy says Afterburn looks cool. Orbital Blues was a little disappointing overall, but AB looks good. Speaking of things that look good, we have a tied first place for No Opinion and Alchemy RPG, which is pretty cool. Alchemy RPG was one of the most expensive Kickstarters I've ever backed. It's not the most expensive. That dubious award goes to Judgment Eternal Champions by Creaturecaster. But it's pretty close, actually. It's quite close indeed. Because I went for the all-in lifetime license for Alchemy.
Oh.
If you don't know what it is, it's virtual tabletop. So one could think Roll20, Fantasy Grounds, that sort of thing. Roll is possibly a little bit, play Roll is a little bit closer to the mark. I'd say it's probably actually nearer in terms of functionality to Albert Rodeo before they decided to massively change its functionality, in that it's designed to be a really gorgeous, almost automationless VTT, where you put in your character sheets and you can click your things from your character sheets, like, you know, you want to do an agility roll, you can click on agility on your player character sheet and roll that, fine. But it isn't intended to then go and do all the automation and basically ruin the GM experience. So there's something that I really hate about virtual tabletops, which is that by and large, if you run them the way that they're kind of designed to be run, they take all the interpretation out of the game, in my opinion. So it does become like you're just placing some narrative on top of a video game as a GM, or even as a player, because a lot of those decisions about what actually happens get made for you. You know, you roll a critical hit and it automatically decides exactly where it's going to be and exactly what it's going to do. So that kind of doesn't really work for me. Is there a Lawnmower Man role-playing game? All these virtual tabletops around and no one wants to run Lawnmower Man role-playing game. I'd be well up for that.
Sure.
Lawnmower Man was a great film that hasn't aged very well at all. But I saw that quite recently. And
Oh, did you?
I say quite recently. It was about 5 years ago. But, you know, recent to some of us. Yeah. It doesn't look as good as it used to. You know, Kelsey Priest. But yeah, Alchemy Virtual Tabletop. It's really cool. You can sign up free. In fact, there might still be, and if you are interested in grabbing a new VTT and you haven't done so yet, Humble Bundle had an Alchemy role-playing game bundle for like $27. Had a whole bunch of maps, virtual maps, and I think some soundtrack stuff as well, and a 6-month subscription, which isn't bad for, you know, £22-23. Definitely worth a look. But you can sign up free and have a tinker. Some of the setting stuff there is free and works out of the box for that wonderful role-playing game that everyone else seems to like. But some of the other rule sets you might need to customize yourself or pay a little bit of money to add to your account. But yeah, very cool. If we were to backtrack now, there are only 2 winners for the previous award, which is the Dark Orb. There's going to be a lot of shit on my table award for the most hotly anticipated tabletop board game type announced or crowdfunded, but still hasn't arrived yet. We've got 2 contenders out of many for this. The runner-up from Mantic Games, I had to think about that for a second, I was buffering, is Worms.
Worms the board game.
Worms the board game.
A fun little game. I've seen this. I haven't played it. Again, I was lucky enough to be able to work on it. I was proofreader for the very slim little rule book. It's a board game, tiny little thing. It looks great. They've captured the essence of the original video game and the utter stupidity of worms running around blowing each other up. I think it looks really good.
I'm looking forward to it. I didn't back it. Maybe I should have done, but I didn't. But I'm really looking forward to seeing how it actually plays at the table. And certainly I've heard you saying that it looks really impressive. I think it'll be great. And Mantic do great stuff. I love their models.
Absolutely.
We were very
Big
lucky,
fan
actually.
of Mantic.
If you didn't make it to Oktoberfest in 2023,
You missed out.
yeah, and or if you made it but didn't bother to come for the Friday night party, pre-after party.
Pre-after
Pre-party?
party.
Well, you used to have the Friday night party, right? I suppose the whole Friday party. The Friday party for Oktoberfest. God, I talk a lot of crap.
You said it.
I did. We had a great time, and one of the things we did
had a
was
great time.
we went to look at the Mantic shop. So we had splinter groups. So some people went straight to Warhammer World, or went drinking. But the hardcore contingent of us went up to Mantic, and the weather was not bad at that point in the day. Had a look in the shop. We just thought, well, Mantic are here in Nottingham where we had Oktoberfest, so why don't we just go and say hello and look at their shop? And we ended up with a tour. So it was really nice. We got to
It's amazing. We met the CEO, didn't we?
We did. Your mate.
Showed us around. It's amazing.
Yeah. It was really, really nice. And yeah, it was a real surprise. Andy says he's got lots of FOMO in retro for Oktoberfest. There's always next year.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
This year.
This year. Good point. There is next year as well.
It was next year as well, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't come this year, Andy. No.
No. Don't bother with that. Actually, we've been having some behind-the-scenes talks about what Oktoberfest could mean over the next couple of years. So, yeah, if you are invested psychologically in that, then please do talk to us on Discord about it, because we have some open questions that need answering. What is the winner of the award, Neil?
The winner of the award is, it's no great surprise, I think, it's Zone Wars by Free League.
Do you know much about Zone Wars?
Not really. I know it's set in the Mutant Year Zero world, and it's their skirmish game based on that world. And am I right in saying that it's supposed to be sort of fully integratable? Is that word? With the role-playing game. So you could play the role-playing game, get to a battle, and then crack out Zone Wars, run the battle, and then go back. I think that's right.
Yeah.
I could be wrong.
I have no recollection of that, but that's only because my brain doesn't work anymore. But what I do know about it, I was lucky enough to talk to Matthias Jonsson-Hawker about it, just in passing. May have been last time, may even have been at Expo, I can't remember now, or it was in the green room before the last interview that we did, and he was saying how much fun it is. It's a real beer and pretzels game, so it's not too serious. It's not one of these war games where you end up sort of agonizing over what to do and terrified of your army being overthrown or whatnot. It's very much it's a bit of a take that game, not in the boy band sense.
Sounds rubbish.
Yeah.
I prefer the Boyzone games.
Boys won.
Yes.
But in terms of, there's a lot of randomness with the dice, so actually it becomes a very fast, frantic game. It's a great thing to have with beer, and just basically it's a really casual war game, skirmish game, which makes it great. So Bruce says you can convert your Mutant Year Zero into a warband. Yeah, I expected we'd have it before Christmas, to be honest with you. In fact, I was originally hoping that we might have it in time for last year's Oktoberfest. So I think that must have come from somewhere. If one of you guys wants to have a look and see when it was originally due on the Kickstarter, I wouldn't be surprised if it was expected like July or something, August. But yeah, Free League are quite busy at the moment. So that
I know it was being demoed at a con this year. Was it Comic-Con? Definitely, or was it one of the US cons?
Gen Con, probably.
Or maybe it was Essen. I don't know. I think it was Essen,
Con,
actually.
Yeah.
Not sure. But anyway, so it must be, if it was being demoed, it must be kind of practically ready, I guess.
Yeah. Okay, so I mean that's basically the majority of the community awards. Not all of them, but the majority for games. So we've got a few that are more Dark Orb specific now. The next one is the most requested Dark Orb show type for 2024. And
this has zero informational content. The results of this.
No.
It hasn't helped you in the slightest.
No, it really hasn't. So basically, I'll try and work out how to copy and paste this, but I wonder if I can. Hang on. You could talk a little bit, Neil, whilst I see if I can do this funky thing.
What are you trying to do?
I'm going to see if I can take a screenshot of it, because I just think it's really funny.
Yeah, it's a good one. Phil was obviously trying to kind of work out, gauge the audience's opinions about what kind of content to put out, because as you know, of course, Phil wants to be of service and put out stuff that you're interested in and will enjoy. And unfortunately, literally everyone seems to have had a different opinion, so it's not super useful.
It's completely truthful. Why have you saved to the desktop? That really doesn't help, because for some reason I just can't get to it. Why haven't I got a shortcut for desktop on my machine? Right, there we go. So, and that's what we're looking at. Which is really not much help at all. So, I mean, what can I do with that, really? So, what we've learned is, and just for your information, basically...
Just do more stuff, basically, is what we've learned.
Yeah, that 26.7% is literally anything, just do more. But that's great. I mean, that shows that everyone likes an area of what we're doing.
Yeah. But then you've got equal votes for actual plays learning to play and actual plays minimum rules discussion.
Yeah.
What do you do with that information?
Well, I'll tell you what we're going to do with that. We will be looking at potentially doing, and this is Martin, one of our top tier patrons' suggestions, quick start your weekend. And in quick start your weekend, we hopefully will be able to, basically go ahead and pick a game that has a starter set or some sort of quick start guide, and we'll learn it together. And then, obviously, once you kind of have a handle on the rules, then you could just play it as per. So I think that's perhaps a nice little compromise there. That doesn't mean it's necessarily going to happen on a Friday, though, so that name might be a bit rubbish. Or we'll just, I don't know, broadcast it on YouTube on a Friday and have it on Twitch some other day of the year. So yeah, that was the most requested Dark Orb show type. Dark Orb Community Award for the best excuse to lose 4 hours listening to a bunch of weirdos making stuff up. Now, I'm just looking at this now. There is, let's see here. There is actually is there a winner? No, we've got a 3-way tie.
Do we? 2-way tie?
3-way tie, because actually we've got 2 entries for Fallout.
Oh.
So we've actually got a 3-way tie, which is really interesting.
Yeah, cool.
So, that 3-way tie consists of Chris Taco for Fallout. Fallout was amazing. Fallout was a lot of fun. But I gotta say, the 2D20 system is not my favourite. Or to put it into context, I can't remember anything about how to play that game. At all. I can't even remember what success looks like for that game.
Really?
So that's not great. Quick start your Wednesday afternoon, that'd be amazing. My Wednesday afternoon tends to be full of meetings. Who else is in that 3-way tie?
Who else is in that 3-way tie? Well, I feel I should mention Zach, We haven't seen all that much of, have we, on the Dark Orb
No,
recently?
much
Sadly,
like me, Zach
um,
changed his
loves
day
that.
job, so
Yeah.
he's been a little bit snowed. But
Hi,
hopefully we'll see
Zach.
more of
If
him this
you
year.
if you see this,
We love you. Come back.
we love you, Zach.
Summer's forgiven.
So yeah, Zach for DCC Dungeon Crawl
Mm.
Classics, Tower of the Black Pearl. Always, Zach's a big DCC guy, isn't he? Always fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Amazing GM, lovely guy. Brings that level of zany which the rest of us seem to fail to do. I mean, actually, Chris is very good at that as well. But yeah, the other three-way tie winner is you may have seen him before. He's been on the show a couple of times. It's Neil from Paladin Roleplaying, and his astounding Vermin 2047. But we're forgetting to do the applause. Rigged.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so badly rigged that it was I only managed joint first place.
Yeah, but no one voted for you before this morning. No, I'm joking. But yeah, Andy says 2D20 only really works in John Carter. I've got John Carter on the shelf. It's still in shrink wrap like everything else. I'll get to it at some point. So we go from which is the best actual play that we've currently got to the Dark Orb Community Award for the game I'd most like to schedule losing many hours listening to, watching, rather than playing myself, unless I'm lucky enough to be in the cast. And we do actually have a clear winner and a clear runner-up on this one.
Interesting.
Yeah. But the clear runner-up is
not
no
entirely
opinion.
surprising. Oh, is it?
So yes,
Oh, yeah,
we've got one. We've actually got one clear winner and then tied for second place. So, I know which one of these I voted for, and that therefore, if I hadn't voted, it would be in third place. So, in third place, by virtue of that, is actually Degenesis.
Interesting.
Yeah. I'd like to see someone run Degenesis on this channel. I just can't quite bring myself to read the books at the moment.
My God, they are hefty books.
I get like physical pain after a while. I don't know, like just the slipcase without the books in is about 900 kilos.
It is. I, as you know, I am a fan of a lore-heavy game. I really like a game that comes with a lot of lore, but man, that has got a lot of lore. It really has. And because the world is so completely different to anything else,
right there. And that's excluding.
You have to read it.
All of the other
That's
booklets.
The thing. You have to read all the books.
Yeah.
You can't wing it really with Degenesis.
No.
So, but it does look great.
It does look great. It is beautiful.
Great.
So then, by virtue, the second runner-up is actually...
Couldn't be a more different game.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about this one?
I don't know much about it, Phil, so
okay,
crack on.
Brindlewood Bay. And again, this is a game that I really want to get to the channel. And as a GM, actually, it's the sort of game that actually gives me a little bit of trepidation. It relies an awful lot on ad-libbing, and that's something I can do, but I never feel very confident about, even if other people say that I'm okay at it. But it's the concept that you, as an elderly woman that likes reading murder mysteries, and your friends at the Murder Mavens book club, out on the coastal village of Brindlewood Bay in New England, I think it's Maine, have uncovered some weird goings on in your town. And people are just dying. There's been a murder. And what's interesting is it's basically Murder, She Wrote with lots of murdering old grannies who aren't actually supposedly the culprits. But what's interesting about it is that it's emergent storytelling. You actually work out who did it together. So nobody knows who the murderer was. And I've got it on good authority that actually when you play it, it all just works. but we haven't got that yet.
People
Good to
really
go.
like it. I've heard very good reports.
Yeah, absolutely. I've got it here. It will get played, and we just need the right party of adventurers, of little old lady adventurers. Jay says, "I'll run the game. Just buy me the books, a private jet, and a palace, and I'll run it." Yeah, I ain't got
Seems
a money
fair.
for that, I'm afraid. But I'd love to say that I could. So that leaves us with one very clear winner for the Darkhold Community Award for game I'd most like to schedule losing many hours listening to, watching, rather than playing myself, unless I'm lucky enough to be in the cast. Take it away, Neil.
Well, it's a game that I know we're both very fond of and keen to both play and run. It's Old Gods of Appalachia, Monty Cook Games. Appalachia.
The Appalachians will defenestrate you.
Based on the podcast of the same name, of course, which if you haven't listened to it and you're at all interested in horror podcasts, listen to it. It's great.
So good.
And the game, so I played, in fact, I played at Oktoberfest.
So you did.
And
I was in that game.
Was absolutely, I know, I remember. It was bloody brilliant. I thought,
wasn't it?
Really, really good. Lovely system, lovely setting, very well implemented. Great GM, which
Phil
always
Callan.
helps.
Props to Phil.
Yeah, hats off to Phil. Very good. And I think Cypher System works very, very nicely for that setting.
Yeah, absolutely. I've got a few different Cypher System things here now. I've got a nice collection up there. So I have few excuses, other than just not knowing where to start. And I think the trouble with Old Gods of Appalachia is that we both want to play it, we both want to run it, and we probably both want to be in each other's game as well. It doesn't help.
Which means one of us is going to have to actually write something.
Yes.
And not use published material. Damn!
Yeah, I know, and it just takes time. This whole having real jobs thing. But there's such a lot of material out there for it, to be fair. Just in terms of folktales and stuff. And the setting is gorgeous. The book as well, you don't have to read the whole thing. There's lots of individual chapters on different geographical areas and what the history is there. So once you know where your party is going to be, either through their choice or yours as a GM, then you can just focus on that area and then put stuff together. But yeah, it's gorgeous. The add-ons are incredible. I've got the limited edition book. I've got the GM screen. The GM screen actually has useful information on it, which was a real shock.
What?
Yeah, I mean, it's not got many tables, and all the tables are actually worthwhile. I'm still not over this. It's very strange. Yeah. I didn't get the plush dog.
So I must admit, some of the add-ons here for this were kind of a bit unnecessary, I think. So talking of games that come from podcasts, we've got a bit of interest in the chat there for Magnus Archives when it comes out. How do you feel about that, Phil?
I backed it.
No, did you? Okay.
Yeah. Another Monty Cook Games game. So it will also be Cypher System. So it's another investigative Cypher System horror role-playing game based on a podcast. Have you paid much attention to the podcast?
I don't know anything about that podcast. I meant to listen to it when the game came out, never did. Is it a sort of a kind of a Rivers of London sort of vibe? Is it that kind of thing? Not really?
No.
Okay.
It's more Tales from the Unexpected, if that makes any sense.
Okay.
So the concept, and I've only listened to the first maybe 15 or 20 episodes, which is quite a lot, but it's nowhere near as many as they've actually put out. And the concept is that, for the show, at least as far as that is that there's an archivist at the Magnus Archives, and he's wading through these archives of first-person accounts of really weird, horrible, funky stuff that's happened. So it's a bit X-Files.
I was just about to say that. Yeah.
So you have this archivist who's reading this first-person account, and it's really weird because it's always written in first person. It's kind of hard to remember that he's actually reading someone else's story, and then it will come back to it. And the other thing that's really interesting, so it's made by the same people who actually I interviewed from MacGuffin and Company, who did Side Jobs, which won an award at UK Games Expo, I think, the year before last now. Which is a book of scenarios, system agnostic scenarios for role-playing games. And they're really lovely people. They also, Johnny,
very nice.
Johnny wrote Zero Void as well, which I've played, and it's my favourite zero-ish prep one-shot game. Really, really cool sci-fi type thing. But what's really interesting is that he presents himself as Johnny Sims in the podcast as well. So it's like he is meta being himself, but not himself, but himself if he worked somewhere else doing other things. And I just think it's really interesting how they portray it. And my understanding is that the book takes some of those accounts and turns them into investigations.
Okay.
So I think that's pretty cool.
Sounds good, yeah.
So I saw, and it's gone off the screen now, Andy asking whether or not there's anything I don't back. Well, actually, it's a good question.
It's a fair point.
It is a very fair point. The reality is, actually, that recently I've not backed very much. I was actually going to see if I can answer the question of how much I've backed of late. Let me have a look. Really depends on whether my password manager is going to behave. So on Kickstarter, the last thing I backed on Kickstarter was the Electric State. So Electric State, Mythic Bastion Lands. Before that was the card deck that you unfortunately had to withdraw. So and Sanction. So Sanction was probably one of the more recent ones as well. So yeah, not a lot actually lately. So yeah, a little bit more on back kit. There was a couple of Monte Cook things, but yeah, significantly less than I once did. And the reason for that is it's the Dave from Effect quotient, I think, which is the realization that you're only going to play like a handful of sessions every year, and you're nearly dead because you're old. So what's the point in buying more? Because you'll never get to play it.
It's a very cheerful thought.
Yeah.
But you've got a point, particularly if you're going to run big campaigns.
Yeah, and big campaigns
or at least
are the fun
medium-sized campaigns.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's becoming.
I've been running Simbroom like 4 years now. Like realistically, how many more 4 or 5 year campaigns have I got left? It's not all that many.
I mean, you are nearly 60 now.
That's right.
We have a laugh. The next award is the Dark Lord Community Award for the guest you'd most like to Friday night party with in person at the next convention.
And the winner, we are going to basically force the winner to come to the next convention and party with us.
And the runner-up, actually, as well.
And the run-up, yeah. Go on then.
Yeah. So I don't think that the third runner-up will make it, unfortunately. That's Gabriel Quiroga. But the second place runner-up, we all know him and love him. He is the most instrumental of Simbrum authors, Matthias Johnson Hawker. It's just a legend. Really nice guy.
Absolute legend.
Can be
utterly nice guy.
Calvados.
Fantastic writer.
Yeah, one of my favourite authors, actually. So yeah, congratulations for your runner-up, Matthias. As a reward, you can buy your own flight to UK Games Expo or Oktoberfest.
Yes, Matthias, if you're watching this, come to Oktoberfest.
Yes, yeah, or else we'll not buy you a beer. And the winner of this award goes to our favourite Appalachian games master, in fact. You all know him as that crazy American who showed up once and ran a DCC type game for us. It is Brendan LaSalle. So,
a worthy winner, I feel.
Yeah.
I've met him only once, but he's great. Lovely guy. Great, fantastic GM.
Was that an X-Crawl Classics game?
No, that was
a DCC game.
A straight DCC, yeah.
But was that the one that was a DCC game, but it was actually not straight DCC? I'm trying to remember. Was there not a...
rules-wise, it was straight DCC, I think. That was a Expo? Yeah, it was at Expo.
Yeah. Yeah. DCC's great.
And it was...
Was that the Noir one?
Yeah.
Gun City.
Yeah, and Erin played. Pookie was in our group.
Pookie, we miss you. Come and play with us more. Everyone, we miss all of you. Come and play games with us. Yeah, that was great. Play UK Games Expo. Play Dungeon Crawl Classics at Brendan's table if you can. And Brendan, as a reward for winning the award for someone that everyone wants to hang out with, you also get to come to UK Games Expo. But you can get Goodman Games to pay for your ticket. That's your prize. Okay, Dark Orb Community Award for Best Ridiculous Hoard of Shit promised to accompany a product during a campaign in 2023. There are, again, there's a lot of people who don't care about this one. But we have 2 runners-up and a clear loser. In fact, 3 clear losers. So the clear losers are Triangle Agency, Shadow Dark, and the MCDM RPG, which I keep meaning to dive a little bit deeper into, but I'm finding it really hard to care about it for some reason. MCDM, that is. Shadow Dark, I think, was amazing. And then we've got 2 joint winners. So one of those is the aforementioned Magnus Archives by Monty Cook Games. That's got a lot of cool stuff coming with it as well. So if you did back that at the Phil level, then you're going to need more space than I've got available. I probably shouldn't have backed it at the Phil level, should I?
Probably not.
No.
But you are, after all, Phil.
That is true. It is. It comes with the title, I guess.
Yes, exactly.
And tell me what you know about the other winner.
So the other winner we've already spoken about this evening. It's Eat to the Reich again by Romerich and Deckard. And I actually, as I mentioned, I'm a big fan of the stuff they're putting out at the moment. So I backed it straight away. It was a no-brainer. I saw the art. I saw it was them. I saw it as vampires trying to drink Hitler's blood. It's like, yes, back, click, done. But I only went for the physical, whatever the sort of physical level was, because I do like to have a physical book. And the extras, I mean, they do look cool, but it's a load of non-game related extras. You get some patches, some bookmarks, like it's all stuff like that. And whilst that stuff's cool, I don't tend to, if it's game related stuff, like I'll go for a GM screen, I might go for some dice, but when it comes to sort of sundry ephemera, is that the right word? That's not the right word, is it? Stuff.
Yeah, stuff.
I tend to leave it alone. So it looks really cool. All the extra stuff does look really good, and I'm sure it'll be lovely. But personally, I was happy to leave it on the table.
So I did get the middle tier. I'm just looking now. I got the one that comes with some postcards, some character sheets, a patch, and a manila folder. At least they're not claiming that's a stretch goal. Looking at you, Free League.
Free League.
But I didn't get
worst
the
stretch goal ever.
Yeah, but I didn't get the ridiculous the box. So I paid, I think, 50 quid instead of the 300 quid, which then gets you a handmade, hand customized.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that one. Yeah.
So, do you really want a patch from a game featuring the Reich? I'm not going to use it, but I'm sure I can find somewhere to put it. Actually, we've got from my previous job. Actually, there's like a big kind of canvas bag. I can't think of the proper term for it. Like a big zippy canvas bag that is perfect size for throwing in a whole load of A4 books and other stuff in. So I tend to use that when lugging gaming stuff around, and we've just started putting patches on that. So there'll be all sorts of different like game patches and stuff on that by the time I'm done with it, I'm sure. Yeah. So yeah, I did go for that slightly higher level, but not for the top level. Yeah. Dark Orb People's Choice Best Community Contributor Award. I haven't yet gone through this list.
Well, it's a pretty clear one, actually, Phil. The people vote for you.
Well,
it's true.
Genuine
surprise. we have Guru Phil. We have Phil for organising Oktoberfest. We have Phil, the Dark Orb himself. Phil, there's no one that gives more to this community. So,
well, in terms of it cost me £1 billion pounds a month to run it.
Yes, that's right. So well done to Phil.
Thank you, everyone. Genuinely, I hadn't actually gone through this. We literally, the amount of planning that went into this episode was, do you fancy doing this tonight? Yeah, go on then. Okay, we'll probably be online about 7:30. 5 to 8, neither of us are ready, which is why we went live a little bit late. So, yeah, thank you. It is a labour of love. I do enjoy it a lot. I wish I was doing more, and I do intend to do more for this year, but I do appreciate it. Backhanders. Congratulate each other. Congratulations, Neil, on being on this show.
Yeah, well, thank you. Oh, well done, Phil. You're great, Phil.
Dark Orb.
And honourable shout out, I think, also to the only other person who got nominated twice, which is the wonderful Chris.
Yeah, well done, Chris.
And somebody said, Chris Tacco, he's been in a lot of shows last year. And it's true, he was. He's done a lot.
He's contributed an awful lot. And great GM. Good fun at the table.
Yes, great GM.
And the most Liverpudlian of our regulars.
Well, that's saying a great deal.
Next one's a biggie. The Dark Orb Established Role-Playing Game Publisher of the Year. And
very, very, very clear winner.
There is a very clear winner. In third place, we get Monty Cook Games. In second place, who do we get?
In second place, we get one of my favourites, Rome Rook and Deckard.
I'm surprised that's not higher. In fact, I'll spoiler alert, I'm pretty sure I voted for Rome Rook and Deckard myself. But the clear winner, with a landslide 33 and a bit % of the vote, is Free League Publishing. Well done. You've released
not a huge surprise.
Yeah. And I don't know. I don't actually feel. Maybe this is just weird, but I don't feel like there's been a lot of really incredible stuff from Free League this year, 2023. It's been consistent, but I haven't felt wowed by anything in that period.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
You know, there's been a lot of maintenance releases, so we've seen stuff for Simbram, Coriolis, things like that, Versen, Tales from the Loop. Lots of really consistent stuff, but even Electric Slate, I mean, yeah, I backed it. A lot of us did, but I don't know. I kind of feel like I'm waiting for the next big thing from them now.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
The Manila folder. I need another one.
Well,
of those.
Yeah. Well, I mean, once you reach the absolute peak of a Manila folder, where do you go from there?
Yeah,
that's the thing.
That's true. Jiffy bag. Jiffy Bag is next.
That's just true.
I don't think the Americans probably. I don't know. Do you call it a Jiffy Bag out there? It's basically it's an envelope that has bubble wrap on the inside. Yeah, one of those.
These.
Maybe you have a different name for it. I think Jiffy is the brand. So
Yeah,
we
I
just
think
call
it
them
is.
Jiffy
Yeah,
Bags in the
it might be an American brand. I don't know.
I've got no idea either. Let us know in the comments.
Wow, are we really talking about Jiffy Bags?
We really are.
Have we descended to that level?
It's a safe conversation topic. The Dark Orb Community Award. Davkar Awakened Salt Rushed. I think they should have stuck with 7 books, not 6. The old orange internal company mail envelopes are cooler. Yeah? Yeah. Dark Orb Community Award for the best damned RPG that was received by backers or released in 2023. There are 3 clear winners here. Do you want to go first?
Can do. Do you want me to do? I'm just working out. Oh, that's no opinion. Okay.
Yeah.
If we're doing 3, 2, 1, you go first because I haven't got much to say about third place.
Okay, that makes sense. So in third place is Pirate Borg by Limithron, and it's basically Morkborg or Merkborg for our Swedes so that they can tell me off for pronouncing it badly. It's basically that game, but it's a lot more light-hearted, a little bit more swashbuckling, a bit more Pirates of the Caribbean-y from what I'm told. With more rules, more scurvy, and fewer other things that aren't the same. Basically. But by all accounts, it's absolutely phenomenal. Everyone I know that's played it loves it. I've got a copy of it I haven't cracked the spine on yet. I originally backed it and then realised I'll probably never run it, so I unbacked it. But as a patron of Victory Condition Gaming, they, in their top tier, they send out a book every 6 months, which is a signed book, which is quite nice.
What?
And yeah, because Doug has contacts in it, yo.
Yeah.
So yeah, received a signed copy of Pirate Borg, which is really nice. By all accounts, it's a great game. Chris Taco, I know, runs a private game of that. He sometimes put feelers out for things like that on Discord. So don't forget, if you're a member of our Discord community, you get the opportunity to play in private games as well. It's not all just about streamed games. We quite often have calls for players for other games too. Second place. There's a game that you might know something about.
Second place. I'm sounding a bit like a Rome, Rook and Deckard fanboy, I realise, in this stream, but it's Die.
This is your own doing this time.
Die is a superb game. I mean, it really is fantastic. It's, if you don't know, it's very meta. You play a character in the real world who is themselves a role player and who sits down to play a role-playing game and gets sucked into that role-playing game Jumanji style. So it's been called Goth Jumanji. And you spend a while creating your real-world player with all their flaws and hang-ups. That bit's important. And then you get sucked into the game world, and the game world kind of mirrors all your real-world characters' flaws and hang-ups. And it's a very deep game. It certainly could be or can be quite an emotional game. It could be a challenging game. It's absolutely brilliant. I think it's so well done. And based on the comic book of the same name by Kieran Gillen. And for anyone who has even the vaguest interest in comics and role-playing games, you must read Die, the comic. It's absolutely excellent.
I would second that. I think it's fantastic. After the awards journey, we'll be picking up the Rowan Deckard discount code from a brown envelope. It'll be a Jiffy Bag.
Yes.
But yeah,
other games companies do exist.
They do. So I hear indeed. Bear with me a second. I'm just fighting with some technology. But yeah, it's. I guess what that really means, though, if we really want to be honest about it, is that this final nomination here, the winner of this game award, is in fact the Dark Orb Game of the Year. It feels about accurate, I think. So, without further ado, I think it's time that we announce the Dark Orb Community Award for the best damn RPG that was received in 2023. This one is going to come as a huge surprise to you, and I think you're going to just have your minds blown that we haven't spoken about this game more in this episode. In fact, we've spoken about so many other things, and this game has barely even been mentioned. Can you guess what it is? Neil, can you guess what it is?
Is it Dungeons and Dragons?
5th edition. Oh my god.
Yes.
Yeah,
It's
no.
5e. It's true.
Yeah. Don't say it.
Can you imagine if it was?
Oh my gosh.
What?
I was going to say I think I'd just rage quit, but I've realised now that we've just given everyone a quick way to kill the show in one fell swoop. It's not 5th edition, because that didn't come out last year.
No, it
so
didn't.
It wouldn't have been
True.
valid. But I'm sure there's some variant, some 5e game that did come out last year.
Is it one of the supplements? Is it
Yeah.
Tasha's Cauldron of Everything?
Maybe. You know a lot about this game. Are we sure we're friends?
That may or may not have come out last year and may or may not be an
idea.
actual supplement. I'm not sure.
Yeah, no, it's not that. It's not that. It is, in fact, the one, the only, Old Gods of Appalachia.
Of course. Very worthy winner, I feel.
I don't think there's much more we can say about that one, other than
Nope.
it is bloody phenomenal. Gorgeous book. Very, very easy to read. In terms of the language, is supremely accessible. I only had a couple of things that I needed clarification on when I read through it. I think we will get the games slightly younger gods of the Cairngorns do it.
And only slightly younger, though.
Yeah. Yeah, not actively young, just slightly younger.
Just slightly younger.
We will end up with it on the show at some point. I think I'm reluctant to run the scenarios from the book. Nothing against them, they're brilliant. So I probably will just run those, or Neil will run them, or something. Or someone else will.
One each, maybe.
That could work. Yeah. Watch this space. But yeah, congratulations to Monty Cook Games. They had a semi-official, semi-unofficial presence at Oktoberfest, in fact. Monty Cook contributed a couple of amazing prizes. In fact, the Old Gods of Appalachia
Very
rulebook.
generous.
Yeah, the Numenera starter set. And the Cypher System core rulebook. I was absolutely blown away by the generosity. Yeah, if you get the opportunity to talk to them at any shows, Kate is just amazing. The rest of the team, when I've spoken to them, have all been brilliant. So huge shout out to Monty Cook, who perhaps in my heart get the Publisher of the Year award for me for last year, but for mostly selfish purposes. Yeah, that's the awards. We also asked a bunch of stuff about the Dark Orb itself and how we could improve, and some really kind words from you guys about just basically us just doing more and keeping the ship steaming ahead, I guess, which is really reassuring. Thank you very much. Yeah, so that's the Dark Orb Community Tabletop Gaming Awards for 2023. And just arrived. Oh, Yoel, you just
literally wrapping up
the entire show.
but
But
thanks for coming anyway.
Yeah.
Good to see you.
you missed me mispronouncing Maracable. So I did it for you then. Yeah. No, 9.5 out of 7 for effort. We miss you. Hope we'll see more of you, Yoel, this year. So yes, what are we going to do this year? More gaming, more interviews, an Orbtoberfest, which will probably be in the same venue, and we'll probably have a cap of fewer players because of the noise. So if you are a patron, you're likely to get early access to the tickets. I think that's the best way to do it. And then after a small amount of time, we'll open it up to other people. So if you were there and you think actually we should go to a larger venue, let us know in the Discord. If you were there and think that venue and the number of players was about right and it was just a little bit noisy, then yeah, let us know. Oktoberfest was a lot of fun. I really loved it and was really humbled that so many of you came along. As for the Dark Orb show itself, I expect the Kickstart weekend will be a little more cross-functional, so not just talking about Kickstarters, but maybe also we'll do interviews and quick start your weekend once in a while, and a few other things like that. So actually just using that as a Friday show to do various different things depending on, well, where our mood takes us. But I think we are pretty much there. It feels like that sort of time. What do you say, Neil?
I think so. I think we've covered a lot of stuff.
Jiffy bags
I think we're good. Jiffy bags and all sorts, different ages of gods in various locations.
Yes.
All the important stuff.
Yes, yeah. And how many Kickstarters I actually back. Which,
yes,
it's not as much as it was, but it's still more than it should be. We're going to go away now. We're going to disappear into the Room of Green and discuss what the next thing is that we're going to collaborate on for the Dark Orb. So huge thanks to Paladin Roleplaying. If you haven't got some dice, then I believe the code, which I can't make pop up here because I'm incompetent.
Phil.
But I could if I just spent some time doing it whilst you were padding. But
I believe 15 it's Dark Orb 15.
Will get you 15% off your first purchase at Paladin Roleplaying.
Your entire cart, no less, so feel free to just fill it up with everything.
Yeah.
Hundreds of sets of dice.
Thousands. How many are on the other side of that wall?
PaladinRoleplaying.com.
Yes.
Check it out. We got stuff.
Yeah. And this is not actually in any way a sponsored show, so I'm just saying that because Neil's here. In fact, the dice that I ordered from Neil were really late. That's not Neil's fault, though.
I'd love to say he was just joking, but they really were.
But the so here's a twofer for you. The poker chips that I got as part of that campaign that you ran are my favourite poker chips out of all the sets of poker chips I've got, and I've got quite a few different sets from Savage Worlds. However, I'm not entirely sure where I put them.
No.
I don't think they're on. So this shelf, which one am I going? That shelf there has got the majority of my dice and cards and stuff, but it hasn't got all of them, and they're not there. And so they're probably downstairs, but I'm not 100% sure on that. So I need to go poker chip hunting at some point, because they are gorgeous. Most of the stuff that I buy tends to be blue, and they are blue and white and pretty and awesome and clay, which matters. Yeah. Bruce says they're great. He knows where his poker chips are. It's like you've got to know where your towel is.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we're going to go and talk about The Zone, and we might be scheduling something in to record that. Maybe stream it on Twitch, but definitely record it very, very soon. So if you have an interest in joining us for that, maybe over the next couple of days, then let me know in Discord. And if we have some capacity, then maybe you could join us. Not the danger zone and no highway. But this is the... Is it literally just... I'm trying to think what the URL is. So it is play.thezonerpg.com, in fact. And I can even... I can even show you, because I have, like, this sort of stuff that works. So, there we go. So it's literally this, but you may remember that we looked at this before, the zone. And this is the sort of stuff you get loads of cards and that amazing bright yellow box of stupid. So that's, if you want the actual game, then that's that. But there is an online game, and we're going to have a look at that at some point very, very soon. So, yeah. But that's that. But until then, and until we're back, my name's Phil, and that guy over there is Neil. And thank you very much for joining the Dark Orb. We will see you very soon. And until we do see you, I hope your dice rolls are way better than mine tend to be. Please like, please subscribe, please smash the thingy buttons, and send us all of the things that are cool. And yeah, darkorb15 at paladinroleplaying.com. Take care, everyone. Big love to all of you.
Bye.
And Happy New Year again. Ciao.